Greed, for lack of a better word, is good. Greed is right. Greed works.
The problem is how to set up an arrangement under which greed will do the least harm. Capitalism, according to Milton Friedman, is that kind of a system. President Reagan agreed, and in the 1980s made people feel better about themselves. He made it clear that the money earned by the very rich belonged to them and to no one else. Reagan referred to taxes as an
instrument of social and economic control to redistribute the wealth and income and to penalize particular industries and economic groups. We need to put an end to that.
So because of Reaganomics, there was less government interference with business and less taxes to pay. Greed was good, according to this way of thinking, because its benefits would eventually trickle down to average workers. According to a 2004 poll, 65% of Americans ranked Ronald Reagan as a great or near-great president. But Adam Smith, the father of capitalism, had recognized that unrestricted businesses tend to engage in conspiracy against the public. He wouldn't want to see how right he was. According to numerous studies, income and net worth have actually been dropping for 90% of American households over the past 30 years. American productivity has more than doubled since 1980, but worker pay, adjusted for inflation, has remained the same. An average two-income family today has less disposable income than one-income families had 30 years ago. When Social Security taxes, sales taxes, transportation fees, and utility costs are included, the typical wage earner pays about a 40% overall tax. Most American millionaires pay less because their stocks and dividends are taxed at only 15%.
Nickel and dime, there's no free lunch or overtime. We just get nickel and dime. They're gonna pay me $7 an hour to clean up everybody's shower, wipe the counter, make the beds, and stack the shirts and sell the bread, or what the Reggie say for coffee. Take orders for delivery, do the floors and greet the guests,
and wear the name tag on my chest.
Nickel and dime, oh, nickel and dime. There's no free lunch or overtime. We just get nickel and dime.
We just get nickel and dime.
A number of hedge fund managers made over $1 billion last year. A laborer who worked for 50 years, making $50,000 a year, would realize total lifetime earnings approximately equal to 1 day at the office for such a hedge fund manager.
This man walks alone. This man owns the mountain. Gold is drawn from stone. Silver from the fountain, billions stand below, listening and waiting, populations grow, lifelong dreams are fading, I'm a part of you and you of me.
Every U.S. taxpayer contributes about $600 a year to pay for the tax cuts that give $34,000 a year to each of the wealthiest 1% of Americans.
Unless Congress acts, Most of the tax relief we have delivered over the past 7 years will be taken away. Make the tax relief permanent.
Idiots.
It's been a good time for corporations. They used to provide about 33% of federal revenue. Now they provide less than 12%. 82 of our largest corporations paid no tax in at least one of the first 3 years of the Bush administration. General Electric has a 5-year average tax rate of less than 10%. Time Warner has a 5-year average tax rate of less than 10%. Boeing has a 5-year average tax rate of less than 1%. Many companies lower their taxes by moving their headquarters to tax havens such as Bermuda or the Cayman Islands. American oil and gas companies have almost 900 subsidiaries located in tax havens. Some other companies with billions in U.S. revenues who have skipped out to tax havens. There are other reasons why we should be concerned about inequality. Perhaps the greatest danger is that political power concentrated among the wealthy threatens the democratic process. Also, wealth concentrated in the hands of a few reduces the incentive to support the common good through funding for health, education, and infrastructure. Finally, inequality may promote continued intervention in other countries. How do we know this?
There are known knowns. There are things we know we know. We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, we know there are some things we do not know. But there are also unknown unknowns. The ones we don't know, we don't know.
The relationship between inequality and intervention seems unclear until we consider the following. Studies indicate that people are motivated less by their earnings than by their earnings relative to co-workers. We all want to get more than the next guy. But each American already consumes over 5 times the amount of land, water, and resources available to each person on Earth. So we need to intervene in developing countries for the resources required to preserve and enhance our lifestyles.
In this one mine alone, there are close to 800 children hard at work. They can be as young as 5 or 6 years old. There are no safety standards, no one has protective equipment. The children are working with bare hands and bare feet. And while there is big money being made in all of this, it's not going to those here who are doing the digging. For DQ and Kaba, the day drags on. What they find here might wind up in your home. The copper and cobalt go to China and are used in products sold on world markets. Fridges, TVs, batteries for mobile phones. DQ didn't find much after hours of searching. We join Cedric and the twins on the long walk home after their 12-hour day. Between them, they didn't make enough for an evening meal.
Inequality enhances the lifestyles of the wealthy elite, diminishes the lifestyles of most wage-earning Americans, and threatens the livelihood of people who support the lifestyles we desire.